Good morning, students. Today we are going to start class 7th SST History, chapter number 8, Religious Beliefs and Popular Movements, part 2. So, students, in the previous video, I had explained about the Bhakti movement and what are the features of Bhakti movement as well as why they emerged, what is the reason behind that, and what they did for the people, those who were the part of the Bhakti movement. Also, we had read several of the saints which they belongs to the Bhakti movement period, as well as we had also studied the different regions of the saints where they belong from the South India or the North India. So, in the continuity of the saints of Northern India, let us continue with the topic that is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a Vaishnava saint. He was belongs to the Bengal, and he was a devotee of Radha and Krishna. So means that he devote himself to towards the Lord Radha and Lord Krishna and Radha and their love. So basically, he was considered as a social reformer, and he always led strides on the universal love that gives the means according to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said that the union with God is very important, and he for uniting towards the God, he used to practice the kirtan is a new form of devotional singing that is in chorus. So like you have already heard several kirtans where they have starting enchanting the name of God in a continuous like Hare Krishna and all. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this type of tradition where, in the praise of that particular Lord, the different songs, or we can say different hymns, were made to please the God. So it was credited to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the saint who belongs to the northern India. The another saint, famous saint during the medieval period, was Srimant Sankar Dev. He was a very famous Bhakti saint, and he belongs to the Assam. And it's about 16th century he founded a different or the separate religious sect. Its name as he named it as a Mahapurushya Dharma. So Mahapurushya Dharma is a kind of sect which always opposed the caste system. As you have already read in the previous video, the Bhakti movement did not means it allows all kind of caste, it allows all kind of varnas, where the whether they are belongs to the Brahmin, Vaishyas, Kshatriya or Shudras. If, from any of the varnas people can join the Bhakti movement. They can easily praise, they are allowed to enter in the temple, they are allowed to sit in the temple. They allow, even some of the saints used to focus on the people, those who are not allowed to sit together, they are not allowed to eat together. So many of the saints, they have focused on these matters also, and they tried to resolve all those problems. So many of the saints were there, those who did these kind of activities. So Srimant Sankar Dev is like he also opposed the caste system, and he stressed on the social synthesis where everybody is considered as equal. Now he is also considered as the worshipper of Lord Krishna. His verses is about the glory of Lord Krishna continue to be popular even today. So his the most important work what he did, it was a Kirtan Ghosh. So in Kirtan Ghosh he described a lot of things regarding Lord Krishna, and each and every verse of what he wrote, it reflect the concept of bhakti. And though he had composed all everything in a simple language that could be easily understood by the local people during that time. So likewise there were several bhakti saints were there, those who did those who did the tremendous job regarding the bhakti movement, or we can say the a separate cult which dealt with the without doing any rituals, without doing any sacrifices and any other uh, ritualistic things, where they forbidden all those things, and they only do is that enchanting the name of God, and they do not need the priest. So these are the bhakti saints. And there's a two thing that is given in your book, that is the Kabir and Guru Nanak and Sikhism. So basically, let us begin with the Sant Kabir. So he was one of the earliest, most influential Bhakti saints of the North India, and it was said that he was the son of Hindu widow, but he was abandoned after his birth, and there was a Muslim weaver family who took him to their home and raised him. So the Muslims were belongs to the weaver family, or weaver artisan, they were there. So he learned the profession of weaving from their foster parents. He resided in the Banaras, where he came in contact with both Hindu and Muslim saints. So while his residing in Banaras, he met with the several Hindu as well as Muslim saints. So he learned from them several things. He learned from some of the good things from the Hindu saints, and some good things from the Muslim saints. He always stressed on the unity of God, whom he called by several names. So he knows very well the God is one. He always says that the God is one. We call the God from by different name. He used to call the God as a Govinda, Hari, Saint, Sai, Sahib, Allah, Ram. So these are the different name which he used to preach to the God. But he always used to say that there is no different God. There is the God is same, but by the we call them by the different name. He denounced the ideal worship. It is said that used he always opposed the ideal worship. Ideal worship means the murti puja, where people used to keep the idols of the god and goddesses they used to worship. So he denounced the idol worship, ritualistic practices, different mantras, yagna and havan are there. So he also denounced all those things, and pilgrimage and participating the formal worship. So he always ask people to, uh, if it is not necessary to go in a pilgrimage center or participate in a group, or in a concept way of yagn and havan. So if it is not necessary, you do it is not necessary, you cannot take part in it. So he always oppose all these things. He always in the he always supported the meditation form of worshipping toward the god, not the form which were started by the priest in the earlier period. Upholding of the fundamental equality among the human being, he opposed all kind of discrimination. So he was also known for that he opposed several kind of discrimination. He also rejected the caste superstition and the practice of untouchabilities. So what were the evils during the medieval period? He opposed all of the things which should be removed, and nowadays everything it is being removed, almost removed. I cannot say fully removed, but almost removed from the society. And before before the 400 500 years back, the Kabir did all these things. The reforms of the individual under the guidance of guru or teacher was emphasized. Okay, here they always ask to a people, a person who is a guru or the pathfinder, or we can say the torch bearer, whose responsibility is to take their disciple in a correct path. So Kabir always focuses on the guru or the teachers. The teacher is very required. Kabir preached humanity, reverence, peace, and love as the necessary attributes to achieve the unity with God. So you should have to keep the peace, you should have to be a human, you should have to keep the humanity, reverence, as well as love that makes you to unite with the God. He self-composed couplets called dohas. So dohas you have already read in a previous classes as well. Kabir ke dohe. So these are the dohas. These are the couplets which was created by the Kabir, and those dohas were enlighten us about his life and philosophy. Whatever the Kabir's teachings was there, it was collected by his disciples, and those were written in a book that is known as Bijak. So basically, Bijak is a book, or we can say it is a collection or compilation of the Kabir's couplets, that is the Doha, that is written in the Bijak. The next topic that we have to know, that is the Guru Nanak and Sikhism. So you know very well, Guru Nanak is the founder of Sikhism, and he found uh, this new cult where the people, those who follows the Sikhism, they are known as Sikh. And the word Sikh is derived from the Sanskrit word that is the Sishya. Sishya means a disciple. So basically, disciple or Sishya or Sikh, all are same. So Sish is a Sanskrit word, and Sish, the Sikh word come from the Sishya word, that is the common version of the Sishya. So Sikh word is came from there. Guru Nanak was born in Talwandi, northwest of Lahore. Lahore now it is in Pakistan in 1469. So it's about more than 500 years back. Guru Nanak was born, and he started a new form of faith that is known as Sikhism. Even as a young boy, the Nanak mystics and contemplative bent of mind attracted him to the company of saints and sadhus. So when he was young age, he was very is in it was in his early age. He used to sit with the saints and sadhus, so that he can get something new, that he can get the knowledge from them. So these things attracted his mind, and he always used to sit with them and to learn something from them. He composed hymns singing them to the accompaniment of stringed instrument known as rabab. So he always used a rabab. It is a one string instrument where they used to keep with them and used to sing the different hymns. Guru Nanak laid emphasis on one God, piousness of character and conduct, and need of guru or teacher. So, as the Kabir used to say that the teacher is very required for any person. The teacher is the person who take the take the disciple to a right path, and the person should have a good character, a good conduct, means how to behave from the other, and they always ask to prayer only one God. He also denounced the superstition, idol worship, as the Kabir did, and also other various faiths, or we can say the rituals, practices which were prevailed during the medieval period. His idea of liberation was the pursuit of an active life with a strong sense of social commitment. So basically, he believe in idea of he believe in the liberty, or we can say he believe in liberation, where the people can easily to participate, or they can actively means they can actively live their life. Basically, they can actively live their life without any problem. Irrespective of their former creed, caste, or gender, his followers ate together in the common kitchen called langar. So the concept what he had started, that the person should whosoever is belong from any of the community, any of the varnas, any of the four varnas, so they all are allowed to come and be the part of Sikh religion. And for removing on all these discrimination, he started a common kitchen that is known as langar. So langar nowadays it is also common. So langar is a place where they feed the poor people, or we can say they feed the needy people, basically those who are needy, those who cannot manage to get the food. So these kind of langars are used to run by these Sikh community. The people, many of the people are there to help them, some of by giving money, some of by giving this the required materials, or the providing the requirements. So these are the communities which helping the people. So this was started by the Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhis. The sacred space that created by Guru Nanak was known as Dharmshala, which is now known as Gurudwara. So he had started Dharmsala. Guru Nanak had started Dharmshala, a place where where people can stay, and they can stay and they can get the food as well. So these places which were earlier known as Dharmshala, but now people changed accordingly. So these places are now known as Gurudwara. uh, there are different Sikh gurus, like the Sikh have the 10 gurus, from beginning from the Guru Nanak, and that is 1469 to 1539. And the last guru was Guru Gobind Singh from 1666 to 1708. He was known as a last guru. After his, there were no other guru were there, so they had decided to keep their sacred book, that is the Guru Granth, or Gurumat. Now that is known as also Guru Granth Sahib, and or it is also known as Adi Granth. So they had kept the Adi Granth or the Guru Granth Sahib as their guru after the Guru Gobind Singh. The Guru Gobind Singh also known for the formation of the Khalsa group in 1699. So during the period of 1699, he established um, one of the group that is known as Khalsa. Khalas means pure. So they are the fighters of the Sikh communities. So they were meant to protect. They were considered as a disciplined brotherhood, and who are required to carry weapons and protect their faith and community wherever necessary. So it is on the it is dependable it is depend on the need. So they need to carry the weapons, and they are meant to protect their community. So wherever is required, wherever, if they saw any of the problem, any of the problem that is faced by the people, so they can resolve the problem on the spot. Every member of the Khalsa had to have five distinctive things on his person. Like they should have to keep these five things. Like the first one is kesh. Kesh is a long hair, or the kangha, that is the comb, kacha, that is the short pair of shorts, kada, that is the iron bracelet, kripan, it is a short or a small dagger, so that they can keep with them. So these are the things that they used to keep with them. The teachings of Guru Nanak and additional hymns is subsequent gurus were compiled by Guru Arjan Dev. So Guru Arjan Dev was the another guru of the Sikh religion. So Guru Arjan Dev, he compiled all of the hymns from the Guru Nanak till his own hymns what he had created. Those hymns were kept in one book. That book is known as Adi Granth, as I explained, and nowadays it is also known as Guru Granth Sahib. And this is the sacred book of the Sikh religion. Now, moving towards the next topic, that is the women bhakti saints. So, during the medieval period, there were not only men taking the part, women are also allowed to take part in the various um, bhakti movements. Like Akka Mahadevi, she was a um, s- famous saint, belongs to the South India. She was a Vaishnavite, and she was famous for her vachnas, and she completely rejected the material world to surrender herself to the Lord Shiva. So she was a Veersavite, means she was the preacher. She was the preacher of Lord Shiva, where she used to reject the material world. Means she did not she did not marry to someone. She did not live with a family. She lived a separate life, separate from the family. Andal was also there. So Andal is a Alvar saint. She was a devotee of Lord Vishnu. She was also credited with the great Tamil work, that is the Tirupavai and Nachiyar Tirumozi. So she wrote two books, or it is a the compilation of the poems, or we can say the songs, in the honor of Lord Vishnu. So she was known for the worshipping of the Lord Vishnu by uh, by singing songs, basically. The other saints which were famous during that time was Sant Janabai. She was there for 1298 to 1305. She was a Marathi poet. She was born in Shudra's family, but she was a great devotee of Vittal. Vittal is the Lord Vishnu at Pandharpur. She was looking uh, as looking God as a as her friend, and as a constant companion who guide her in life. So they many of the bhakti saints were many of the bhakti saints, they used to think, or we can say they look the god as their friend, as their mother, as their father, or as their son. So you will read in the previous class, in the uh, upcoming classes, that there were many saints, whether they are female saints, whether they are male saints. So they used to make the god as the part of their family. Like some people used to think as a friend, some people used to think as a mother or father, son or daughter. So they make relation so that they can relate easily towards the god. So these are the things that is done by the bhakti saints. The another female bhakti saint was the Ganga Sati. She wrote in Gujarati, and she used to address her daughter-in-law. Her name was Panabai, and she was asking her daughter to follow the path of bhakti. And she used to ask the Panabai, as she was her daughter-in-law, that she should have to take the path of bhakti, so that she can get the she can get the praise of the lords, basically the gods. The another saint was there during that time was Ratan Bai. She also wrote bhakti poetry, and she used to sing those poetries, she was working on a spinning wheel. By spinning wheels means by making cotton thread. And the next one is Mirabai. She have already did very various things in her life, like she was married to the Rana of Vimar. And but after marrying also, she did not left the worshipping of the Lord Krishna. She spent a lot of time for dancing and singing in the devotion of Krishna. She also composed the simple rhythms, and with the repeated refrain called Padavali. So Padavali was a creation of Mirabai in the praise of Lord Krishna. She was a devotee of Lord Krishna from her childhood. So she was another famous bhakti saint during the medieval period. Now moving towards the next topic, that is the Sufi movement. So Sufi is a movement which was started by it was it is a cult of we can categorize as a cult or a group of Islam. So in the term Islam means the submission to the will of God, means that you should have to fully submit yourself, you have to fully devote yourself to the God. And it was founded in Arabia during the 7th century by Prophet Muhammad. So he was the founder of Islam religion. There are several literatures during that time. It was written in the Arabic language, and all those literatures are compiled in a book, that is the Quran. Quran is the sacred book of the Islam religions. So Quran comprises the prayers, hymns, and as stories, as well as that is relatable to the life and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. So this Quran is a sacred book which contains what? It contains the prayer, hymns, and story relating to the life and teaching of the Prophet. So what the Prophet Muhammad used to said, what he did in his life, what kind of life he lived. So everything is written in the Quran. As per the instruction given in the Quran, the Muslim should have to pray 5 times a day. So this is the code of conduct that Muslim or the Islam people or the Muslim people have to follow. The first conduct is that the Muslim have to pray for 5 times a day. So it is very required, it is very necessary. A Muslim should have to pray 5 times a day by facing Makkah, means the direction in which the Makkah is there, the sacred place, the birthplace of Prophet Muhammad. So they should have to uh, offer prayer, 5 time prayer, by facing the Makkah. Their prayer is referred as a namaz. So namaz is a prayer like enchanting the God's name. That is the namaz. They fast from dawn to dusk, from till morning to evening. That is known as roza, and they fast during the month of Ramzan. It is a sacred month. It is a holy month in which all the Muslim used to fast. That fast is known as roza. It is very necessary. It is necessary, means that the person should at least visit once uh, at Makkah, the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad. It is said that it should be there in Muslims' life. Means that they should have to once visit in their whole lifetime to the Makkah for uh, the visiting of the Makkah is known as Hajj. So a person who is a Muslim, they have to visit Hajj. They have to go for the Hajj, the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad, that is also known as Makkah. A certain amount of money is to set aside for the purpose of charity, that is zakat. Zakat uh, is a term that is used for the charity. Means if you have earned 10 rupees by your job, so you should have to keep some percent of your earning by providing the charity to the poor people. So how the Islam came into India? So the arrival of the Islam in India, it was in the early medieval period, where the record which tells us about the entrance of the Muslim rulers, or we can say Muslim peoples, that was in the form of al-Biruni's travelogue. So we get the information through the al-Biruni's travelogue, where the Muslims or the Islamic people have entered in the Indian subcontinent. Arab Islamic travelers and traders begin to arrive on western coast of India from 8th century onward. So from the 8th century itself, after the birth, after the after 1 century or near about 2 century years, 2 century after 2 century, many of the Islamic traders they started coming toward the coastal part of the Indian subcontinent. And later on, during the 11th century, there were several invasions of Afghan, Turks, and Mongols. So uh, these all invasion started the entrance of the Islam in the Indian subcontinent. Now let us see the origin and the spread of Sufism, how it originate and what is how it does it spread. So basically, Sufism is a mystical movement in Islam, emerged in middle of East in the 8th century. So as you have already read that the Bhakti movement was also there in the India. So this was what it is, a new kind of pattern, a new kind of behavior that should have to follow by the common people, and that is more easier. That is more easier to follow, as well as they rejected the several things like idol worship, rituals, and other sacrifices and all. So likewise, in the Islam religion, there is another cult that is divided during the 8th century or the starting of the 8th century, that is known as Sufism. So this has started in the Middle East areas like uh, the China and other part of the areas where they had started the separate life, and they uh, uh, they started coming from the Central Asia, and they started settling down in the India in 11th century onward. They also during the establishment of Delhi and Delhi Sultanate and other Mughal rulers, so many of the Sufi they had started visiting the Indian subcontinent, and they give a pace to the Sufi movement. Pace means speed to the Sufi movement, and so this was the period where the Sufi as well as Bhakti as well as Sufi movement was also at the peak during the medieval period. The linguistic origin of the word Sufi may be traced from either Safa, which means purity, or Saf, which refers to the coarse woolen garment which is worn by the Sufi mystic. So, person there you can see the dresses which what they are wearing. So that is a woolen garment that is worn by the Sufi saints, that is known as Saf, or some of people they used to use the word Safa as a Sufi, which means the purity. Sufism is a common term that is given to the Islamic mysticism. Mysticism means the people, those who were the part of Islam, but they reject the uh, all of the rituals which is followed by the Islamic peoples. They always believe that the one can become united with God through prayers and meditation. So, likewise, you have read that the many of the Bhakti saints also used to preach the same thing. When you uh, when you do the prayer, when you meditate yourself, or when you live a simple life, so this is the only way to reach with God, not by following several rituals or other things. Sufi philosophy was basically Islamic. Islamic, why Islamic? Because it is the origination of the Islam. This is originate from the Islam, and it is a kind of new ideas and religious practices such as penance. Penance means living a separate life from the others, from the family members. They also rejected the elaborate rituals and code of behavior, so they did not need the code in the sense they did not need any kind of restriction or the foundation for enchanting the god name. They simplified the rituals of worship in a collective prayer. So they started doing the collective prayer. Prayer means they ask the Sufi people to come together and uh, join the prayer so that the god can be pleased. They were deeply religious and led a simple life, stressing on self-discipline. They also believe that the heart could be trained to look at the world in a different way. So the most important thing what the Sufis wanted to convey the message is that the person should have to be the person should have to live in a peace. The person should have to keep peace in their mind and heart, and they should have to love the humanity. They should have to love the humanity, and as much as help they should have to provide if they are eligible to provide the help to the other people. They also developed the elaborate method of training using zikr. Zikr is a chanting of name, means name, taking the god's name by in a repetition manner. They also used to make to sing the song that is known as sama. They used to uh, dance. They used to discuss the parables. Parables means that is in a form of couplets. In the form of couplets, in the form of questions, they discuss with each other. Breath control, as well as the different qawwalis, that is the song which is uh, uh, which is the devotional song which is started by the Sufis. These all things should be done under the peer or the master. So as you have already read in the Bhakti saints, the teacher is very necessary. In the Bhakti movement also you have read. So here in the Sufi movement as well, the teacher is very required, and teacher is known as peer, and his disciples are known as murid. The disciples of the disciples of the peer are known as the disciples of the peer are known as murid. Now they live in a place that is known as khanka, and the khanka become the dargah or grave of the uh, peer. Means peer, that the peer is a guru. When the guru get died, so the place where the guru lived, that they convert that place in a dargah. Dargah is the place where the that is known as also grave of that person. So they convert the grave into dargah, that is the pilgrim center. People used to visit those dargah, and before getting died, the peer chose one of his disciple as a successor to carry his work. So the guru, where you have read in the Bhakti movement, the guru or the teacher should have to choose the successor after his death, who will be the teacher of this community or this group. So they decide before their death. So this succession of peer was known as silsila or the religious order. So after once peer is dead, the next peer will be there, where next peer will be there. So this succession of peer is known as silsila. So what the guru has follow, their disciple will also do. When the new guru will come, when the new peer will be appear, so their disciple will also do the same thing. For next the new guru or peer will appear, so their disciple will also follow the same rules and rituals and regulations. So this follow of the follow of the following what they followed the gurus preach, that is known as silsila or the religious order. There are 12 type of religious order in the Islamic or the Sufi cult. In India there were some of the famous religious orders are Chishti, Sohrawardi, Naqshbandi. So these are the famous Sufi orders. Means they belongs to these particular Peer or the particular gurus of the Islamic religion. The Chishti Silsila was the famous one. So Chishti Silsila was famous from the earlier time, and the some of the important peers during the medieval periods were like Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. He belongs from the Ajmer. Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Khaki, he belongs to Delhi. Baba Farid of Punjab, the Khwaja Nizamuddin Aulia, he belongs from Delhi. Banda Nawaz Gesu Daraz, he belongs to the Gulbarga, and many more are there, those who belongs to the several silsila. Sufi mixed freely with the people of the lower classes, including Hindu. So what they used to perform, what they used to enchant the name of the god. So many people, those who are poor as well as those who belongs to the lower caste, as well as the Hindus even, they also attracted from the song what they used to sing, the way of praying or the way of prayer. Everybody is get attracted through it. Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti, he resided in Ajmer, and he was always been remembered as a great Sufi saint. And he was founded an order or a silsila. That silsila was known as Chisti silsila. His mausoleum or dargah where he died, that is converted into dargah at the Ajmer, and that Ajmer is a famous place. That Ajmer or the dargah of Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti is a famous place, and it is converted into pilgrimage. Every year every year there is a function that is known as urs, that is the annual celebration, where the thousands of people from different faith, from different country, they used to visit the dargah, and they offer chadar means it is a flower one, where they used to keep uh, to cover the grave of the Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti. Bakhtiyar Khaki and Baba Farid were two well known disciples. So, as you have read the name of Bakhtiyar Khaki and Baba Farid, so both of them were the disciple of the good disciple of Nijamuddin, sorry, good disciple of Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti. Now you can see the picture of Dargah, or we can say the grave of the Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti, which is converted into the pilgrimage center by the disciples of Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti. Baba Farid was one of the founding founder of the Chisti Sufi orders. So what the Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti was there. His disciple, his name is Baba Sheikh Farid. So he was the founding father of Chisti Sufi order. So during the period of Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti, Baba Farid was also there. He was considered as a founder of one of the founder of the Chisti order. He preached in Haryana and Punjab. So the places where he preached was the Haryana and Punjab, and he always insists that the only way to love God was to love people. If you help the people, if you help the needy people, the God will also help you. Some of his verses included into Adi Granth. So though he was belongs to the Punjab and the Haryana areas, so the the Sikh sacred book Adi Granth or the Guru Granth Sahib, those books also contains some of the hymns which were created by the Baba Sheikh Farid or the Baba Farid. The next is the Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia. So Aulia, Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia, he was also a famous Sufi saint. He also emphasized upon a love as the means of achieving the unity with God. Love means the devotion towards the God that gives the that makes you unite with the God. He also spoke his follower in Hindi. Why he used Hindi? Because Hindi was the common language during that time, that the people easily understood all the things what he wanted to say. The another famous saint, the Sufi saints were like Nasruddin Chirag of Delhi, Salim Chisti of Sikri. They were also famous saint. Akbar, he praised as well as focused on Sufi cult, and he was always, as you have already read in the previous topics, that Akbar did a several things uh, for the religion, whether it is Hindu religion or the Muslim religion. He did several things, or all of these Sufi saint used to say that whether it is Ishwar or Allah, they are same, but the people used to call them by their different name. So this is the famous saying of the all of the saint, whether they are belongs to the Hindu community, or we can say the Bhakti saints or the Sufi saints. Everything it is said, the same thing is said by the all of the saints. So basically this chapter is over, and what you have to do is that you have to write the several famous saint during the famous Sufi saints, those who were there in the medieval period. Thank you, students.